Hello, hello, hello. We have a Hank butt. That's how we're going to start our Sunday evening, is with a Hank butt. He literally was not here 3 minutes ago before I started to go live. And then as soon as I pulled up the thing to go live, Hank climbed up here. Hank, you're a mess, buddy, but I still love you. Yeah, I do. Here, get up here and walk on yourself. There you go. Put your tail down and get that out of my face. Thank you. Hey, Dreamer. Yeah, of course, Hank is. Mister, yeah, I'm going to sit right in your sticky spot. Really? Really? That's what we're doing now? Hmm? Oh, he's a mess. It's been a week, y'all. Oh, here, get over there. There you go. Let's see where I put my glasses at. There they are. Oh, found them. Yep, there goes the tail. Man, I need to clean these glasses. Whew, I can't see nothing. I don't have any glasses cleaner. I got some Windex, but it's not over here near the desk anywhere. And here he comes back again. Really? Arya is around here somewhere. I have no idea where. She's been here off and on. She doesn't really hang out here as much. She goes back in the bedroom and stays back there pretty much most of the time. The bedroom is her domain. And she stays back there a lot. Okay, Hank, you're gonna have to move, buddy. Daddy got diamond paint. Can I do that? Hmm? Can I do that? I know. You want to rub your face on my chin. I know. Yep. It's the weirdest feeling in the world when you do that because you take those side teeth of yours, those back teeth, and you kind of use them to bare them, and then you rub against my face, and those teeth rub against my face, and it feels weird. Yeah. And then I smell like a Hank, which is what you want. You want me to smell like a Hank. Yeah. You want to let all the other kitty cats in the world know that I'm yours, huh? Oh, really? Do tell. Or did you make a video? Oops. If you made a video, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll have to go check it out. DP you got from TikTok. You toss it in the trash. Too much gapping. Ah, they didn't print the canvas right. I'll have to go check it out, Dreamer. I haven't been able to check out much on YouTube lately. Hank, you are seriously way today, buddy. You haven't been up here at all, hardly at all today. And now you just want to stay here? I don't get it. Just the coolest little vape mod. Check that out. And when you push the button, it lights up around the. Day's Dream. I've heard of them. I know I've heard of them. I've heard of so many things. Roll Tide, y'all. What a game yesterday. Alabama makes it hard being a fan. They really do. They make it tough on us. They keep us on our toes. Hank, no. No. Leave my cords alone. He's suddenly gotten this kick of wanting to play with cords. Hello, Lizzie. Long time no see. Oh, it turned out good, Dreamer, but they just make it hard on us being fans because they like to keep us on our toes. They came out yesterday in the first half and only scored 6 points to Tennessee's 20. So at halftime, it was 20-6. And we really thought, well, it was 21-6. I take that back, 21-6. And it really looked like our team wasn't playing at all. It's like they came out of the locker room and said, "Oh, we're not going to play today. We're just going to sit here and watch the other team score." And that's what it felt like the whole first half. And went to halftime. I ran to Sonic and grabbed some lunch or dinner, whatever you want to call it. Came home, sat down for the second half, and a totally different Alabama team came out the locker room. And they scored 27 unanswered points in the second half, meaning they held Tennessee scoreless in the second half. And came back to win it 32 to 20. Well, no, yeah, 32 to 20, I think was the score. We had 6 going into the half, and 6 going into the half, and then scored 27. So yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Berta. And do know that I am 8 to 10, not 8 to 11 Central Time. I did make that change several weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, to where I'm only going 8 to 10, 2 hour live instead of 3. But otherwise, it's still 8 p.m. on Sunday night Central Time. Awesome, Dreamer. Yes, that is Hank's Patoot. He refuses to be anywhere but right here in this general area. I've already put him down like 4 times now since I started the live, and he just keeps jumping right back up here and wants to sit here and stare at me. And I don't know why he wants to sit here and stare at me. There's nothing in the world that it's time for or that he needs, because he's got everything out there that he needs for staying alive and sustenance. I guess he just feels attention starved. Yeah, Dreamer, I'll go check that video out after I'm done here. So I'm going to see this cool diamond painting pen. I've seen some really cool ones that I want to order. I just haven't had the extra money to do it. I can't remember who has it. I think it's BFF has them, and you can order them special without winning them in a drop. But they're like one end is like black, and then it fades on the other end to a multicolored glittery looking pen. And when you hold it, your heat of your hand is supposed to warm up that black part and change it colors, kind of like a mood ring type thing. I would love to get one of those. It's a really neat blank. But until then, I will use my diamond cast with all the little sparkles in there that are diamond dust, actual real diamond dust. So I will use that one until. I mean, I've got a ton of other ones over here I can use, but this one here just seems to be my favorite. It fits my hand perfect. It feels good. I got this one from BFF as well. This one I had to custom order from them because they didn't do it as a drop. But it's one of the diamond cast blanks. So it was a little more expensive than the other ones. I guess that's maybe a reason why I use it a little more, because it was more expensive. But I've definitely got I think I paid $60 for it at the time. And I've definitely got $60 worth of use out of it. Because I bought this in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember which. I would have to go back, do my videos, and find the one where I unboxed it, or unenveloped it, or whatever you want to call it. So no, it's been a pretty decent week. The one tech we've had that's been out injured since May has come back, but he didn't come back in a role as a tech. He has come back in a role working in the office, helping out with scheduling. So that's been a really big help. I haven't had to do as much scheduling for myself this week because he's really been on the ball. He was assigned to help a new tech do some scheduling, but when he finished up with that guy, he's been helping me out a little bit this week. So it's been nice having that kind of little bit of a help. I can't rely on it because then when he goes back to working in the field, if and when that does ever happen, we don't know if it will or not, because he may have to have another surgery, which may keep him from ever being a tech again. We don't know yet. But if and when he's no longer available to do that, I'll have to take it back over fully myself. So I can't rely on him scheduling for me, but it sure has been a big help this week. Thanks, Berta. Yeah, I love it. It's kind of my favorite pen. I mean, it is like all those little sparkles are just real diamond dust, which is fairly easy to come by because they use the same stuff on like saw blades that are meant for cutting rock and concrete and stuff. So it's not hard to get it. You can buy diamond dust, in bulk, and you just mix some in your resin when you make the pen. Make the pen blank anyway. But it's a unique idea. I have several favorite pens. Let me see if I can find them. I have a thing about blue. Blue is my favorite color, especially like bright royal blue. So I've got a lot of blue pens. Hank, your tail is in the way. There we go. Excuse me. Thank you. I love you, Hank. Yep, got all my blue pens. Hi, Odd. How you been? So yeah, I've got that one's a. I want to say it's a BFF, but it may or may not be. But the white part glows in the dark. It's really cool. That's just a standard blue see-through acrylic pen. That one came from Diamond Pens with a Z, I think. Don't hold me to that. This one and no. Was it this one and this one? This one? No, these two. Both of these are Lassen Lathe Works. This is the Dolphin Water. It's got that transparent blue mixed in with the clear resin. Absolutely beautiful in person. And I love the way this one feels in my hand as well. That's kind of like my second favorite pen. And that one and my oil slick are the two that I've used the most. And then this one I call my Blue Angels pen because it's the same color as the Blue Angels planes, with the same shades of blue and yellow. Since I was ex-Navy and the Blue Angels are my favorite flight demonstration squadron. Yes, I have a favorite flight demonstration squadron. I had to get a Blue Angels colored pen. This was my very first ever diamond painting pen. I bought this in either late 2018 or early 2019. I think I had it before I had a YouTube channel. So it may have been late 2018. I bought that one from Hand-Turned Diamond Painting Pens on Facebook. They were one of the very first turners in the business way back then. And yeah, this one's just a standard blue. This one came from Diamond Pens with a Z. Most of the rest of these are BFFs. That one is also from, this one here is also from the same company as this one. I bought this one last year. This is no, this one came from, I want to say, I think it came from DAC, if I'm not mistaken. And I may be wrong about that. But we ordered one for me with the blue chips in it, and one of them with the gold and like amber colored chips for amber. We had a matching set. But they came from either DAC, I think. I can't remember, to be honest with you. BFF, Glow in the Dark. This one came off of Amazon Amazon or AliExpress, one of the other. I think it was Amazon. Came with a kit. I think it came with these gold colored tips, metal tips. These two are the only two I have left from the BFF 4th of July drop on 2020. Amber took the rest of them. We got like 5 that day. This one's really cool because it's got little sparkles in the red. And it's got pine cone in there. So it's like a pine cone pen with sparkles in the red part. And then we just got a flag one. That's BFF. This one is BFF, my BFF pens. It's a really cool black and blue one. Yep. And that's all of my pens that I have left. Amber took all of hers with her. Between the two of us, we had something like 30-some pens. But then, of course, we can't forget the Bob Ross pen that I just never use. And that one came from KK's Unique Diamond Painting Pens, which I do not think is even in business anymore, because I think she had some family stuff go down, and she kind of did away with her shop. Well, because they were bought for her, Dreamer. You know, I'm not going to keep the pens that were bought for her. That wouldn't be right of me. Who you wonder if whoever started her channel back up, Dreamer? Ailey? You mean Amber? If you mean Amber, not that I know of. She still has her channel. I'm still subscribed to it, and I think she's still subscribed to mine. Um, she didn't. She changed the name of it, so it's not really a diamond painting related channel anymore. But I know she does do TikToks with it, and I know she does do Snapchat stories and stuff with her diamond painting. And I know she has shown some of it off on Facebook stories, but as far as her YouTube channel, I don't think so. I would have to go look and see, but at last I remember is she had actually taken down all of her previous videos that she had done before and was going to start off fresh with a new name and everything. And that was before we broke up. And she just kind of lost interest in doing it because she just felt like trying to be a part of my channel and do her own at the same time was just too much. And I guess now that she's pretty much settled into a life with a job and her man and the new baby on the way, which is due, I think, 6 weeks. So she probably just doesn't have time to worry about YouTube right now. Y'all keep her in your prayers as well. Pam, her mom, Pam's sister passed away. So Amber's aunt. So y'all keep their family in your prayers, y'all. I mean, yeah, we broke up, but there's no animosity. We're still friends. So, and it kind of sucks when anytime you lose somebody. So, yeah. And y'all, I'm still using my cup. It's getting a little dirty there because I got coffee in it right now. But man, it's nice. It does keep your coffee nice and hot, and it's cool to the touch on the outside still when you put coffee straight out of the Keurig into it. So it's insulated. I found that out. It does keep drinks cold overnight if you keep the little snap thing shut like that. It's not a snap, it slides. It's kind of tough to slide open and shut. It's not an easy thing. But once you've got that sealed, it does keep cold things cold for quite a while. I poured some cold iced tea from here in Alabama we have a chicken finger place. I mean, we've got tons of chicken finger places. There's a chicken finger place on every freaking corner in Tuscaloosa, it seems like. Chicken fingers are a big deal down here. You got Zaxby's, you got Fusakli's, you got Guthrie's, you got Lord knows so many little mom and pop chicken finger places. Um, but Guthrie's Chicken Fingers has some of the best sweet tea on the planet, and they sell it by the gallon. So I had a gallon of that in the fridge. It was nice and cold. I poured some in there. I didn't finish it all before I went to bed. Got up the next morning, it was still cold. So these cups from my merch shop work very well. That is the 20-ounce tumbler. So if y'all are interested, you can take a look. Link is in the description. That's right. Shameless plug. It's my channel, my live, my merch. I'm going to plug it. I have several designs of this. I have this design with Hank on it, and I have another one with the I Heart DP logo on it. That's like on some of the t-shirts. So yeah, one side. If not, then I have one with just this logo on one side and nothing on the back. But I think I have this logo, my channel logo, along with the I Heart DP on the opposite side, and then the channel name across the bottom. But I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I went to check my shop. Maybe that's what I should do for one of these lives. I should do a screen share through StreamYard and take you all over to the shop and show you around while I'm live. I put a lot of work into designing the logos and the designs for the merch. So thank you, Odd. Yes, there is the link, y'all, to the merch store. You can right click that and click open in new tab. And that way you can stay live while listening to me, and you can check out the store while you're listening to me. I can't remember. Is that a P? No, that is not a P. That is a Z. Okay. Probably won't matter. As much confetti is in here, one little drill out of place probably is not going to make a big hill of beans difference. Well, it's all good, Odd. You got to apologize. Hank, you about knocked over my camera. Hi. And he just wants to sit here and stare at me. Actually, he's not even staring at me. He's just sitting here kind of facing in my general direction and just staring at nothing while slow blinking, like he's going to fall asleep sitting here because he's Hank and that's what Hank does. But he is the bestest Hank that ever hanked. Yep. Mm-hmm. As you can see, I have not put much work in on this at all this week. Actually, I've put in no work at all on this week. This is the first time I've worked on it since last Sunday. Because typically, I get home from work. Here's my typical evening now lately. And y'all are going to tell me how unhealthy this is for me. I know y'all are. But typically, I get home from work at around 5-ish. I spend about an hour or so calling customers, setting up appointments so that I can stay scheduled 3 days out like the boss wants. And then as soon as I get done with that, I grab something to eat. And then I fire up the Xbox. And I stay on the Xbox until sometimes just a little bit before daylight. Then I go lay down and I get, I don't know, anywhere from a half hour to an hour and a half of sleep. And I get up and I go to work. And I repeat that process all the way till Friday night. When I get home from work Friday night, most of the time I don't have to call because, I can do that on Sunday afternoons. So Friday night, I come home, I grab something to eat, I hop on the Xbox, and I don't usually go to sleep until sometime, I don't know, sometimes I don't even go to sleep. This past week, I didn't go to bed at all Thursday night. I went to work all day Friday, came home and played Xbox until, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Went to sleep and didn't wake up until noon or 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, just in time to watch the football game. And then after the game was over, I got on the Xbox and I played until, well, I didn't go to bed last night. So I've been up since yesterday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And when I get done with this live, I'm going to go check out your video there, Dreamer. And then I'm probably going to get back on the Xbox. And I'm probably going to play Xbox until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then go to bed, get up at anywhere from 5:45 to 6:30, and go to work. So that's what my life has been consisting of here the past, I don't know, month or so now. It did catch up with me a couple of Fridays ago. Actually, 3 Fridays ago. Not this past Friday and this Friday before, but the one before that. I was 3 hours late to work. I think I told you all the story. I missed my morning meeting that we have that's mandatory every Friday morning at 7:30. Boss was upset and wrote me up, but I understood why. I get it. He's got a job to do. But last Friday, not the day before yesterday, Friday, but the previous Friday, I showed up for the morning meeting and they were going over, we have to collect the money for the service we do at the time of service. We're supposed to be. The problem is previous management wasn't enforcing that on customers, and they were allowing customers to basically just pay when they wanted to. If it meant sending in a payment later or whatever, and they weren't supposed to be doing that. So these customers are all spoiled in not having to pay at time of service, and that hurts our revenue when they don't. because our revenue is based off of how much actual physical funds we brought in during the month. Um, and if we're not collecting a time of service, then we have no revenue because money that is owed is not considered revenue. So I guess to incentivize this, the boss held a contest for this month. If you, whoever has the highest amount in collections each week wins a gift card. I was like, I didn't know this because I missed it. I missed the meeting that this was announced in. So last Friday, I show up to the morning meeting and he's going over. He says, "Okay, now for the amount of collections for this week, we have so and so with X amount of dollars, and so with X amount of dollars, and so with X amount of dollars." And he never called my name. And I'm like, well, why is he not calling my name? And he says, and the winner is Dave, $670 some in collections. And I said, hold up, winner? He says, you can see me for your gift card, on Monday when you come in. I'm like, gift card? He's like, yeah, I announced it last Friday. Didn't you hear it? And then he's like, oh, that's right. You weren't here to hear it. And I'm like, well, I appreciate that I won the contest, though. But, that kind of says a lot about me and the way I run my route. Because he did this contest to incentivize everybody to basically do the job they're supposed to be doing. And the one person that didn't even know there was a contest or an incentive beat out all the others. So what does that say? That says I'm doing my job. Yeah, Dreamer, the Xbox is connected to the TV. I'm thinking actually about starting a Twitch stream. I have a Twitch channel that I was going to use for streaming MLB The Show. But now that I'm into Call of Duty so much, I may start streaming Call of Duty and then just add in once a week or so I might play MLB The Show and just piddle around in that for a while and stream it. But a lot of the other clan members of the gaming clan I'm in, stream on Twitter. So it wouldn't be really hard to get some of them to raid me and stuff and build my following up pretty quick because some of them have pretty good following. So going back to the contest, this past week, he said, because he didn't get me the gift card last Monday, and I hit him up for it in like the middle of the week, and he was like, oh, yeah. He said, I'll have it for you on Friday at the meeting. He said, I just haven't had a chance to go buy the gift card yet. I'm like, oh, okay. So this past Friday, day before yesterday, we had our morning meeting, and we went over the safety topic and all the other stuff. And at the very end, before he dismissed us, he says, oh, I have this to give out. He said, I know it's late. I'm sorry. I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to go buy any. But here is your gift card, Dave, for winning the contest last week. And also, you won again this week. So here's another one. They were two $10 Sonic gift cards. So I'm the proud recipient of two $10 Sonic gift cards. Bev, I understand where you're coming from on that. YouTube is becoming harder on creators. They're making it a lot harder to actually make any kind of money on YouTube, and they take so much of it when you do make any. That's why a lot of people are going to Twitch. I don't think I will ever go to Twitch fully for diamond painting at all. My Twitch will be strictly for gaming. My YouTube would be strictly for crafting. Or maybe I'll get a second Twitch channel for crafting. I don't know. I maybe I'll do that too. I don't know. But it's going to be really hard to keep up with the gaming Twitch because, I mean, gaming Twitch, man, you almost have to stream every single night to get anywhere. So that might be a little tough. But I don't know. I'll think about it. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. YouTube has been going through a lot of changes with how they do things, and it's not making a lot of creators very happy. You stream diamond painting in Lego. Oh, wow. I never even thought about streaming Lego. That'd be interesting. Watch somebody build a kit. That'd be cool. I never really thought about that. The name vaguely rings a bell, Dreamer. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it vaguely rings a bell. It must have been a long time ago since I've seen her. There's a big Lego community on Twitch. I would never have known that, Bev. But see, I don't even go to Twitch that often. I'm gonna have to learn how to use Twitch, like completely learn how to use it and what all the little things mean. I know what rating means, um, but all the little things about how to make money and how to do this and how to do that. I'm gonna have to learn all of that because I just am. I don't even go to Twitch as a viewer very often, if at all. So I need to. It'd be like learning YouTube all over again. Yeah, I know you go live only. I know that. Oh yeah, I'd figure it out. Oh, you protest too much. But see, I do know. I watched a YouTube video. Ironically enough, I watched a YouTube video on how because I can stream live straight off the Xbox. I don't need to pass it through a computer, nothing like that. Just straight Twitch stream. I would have to sign up for Streamlab, which is like $4.99 a month. And Streamlab allows you to add in all the little extra things around the side and all of that kind of cool stuff. And then you link your Xbox account to your Streamlab account. And then you just go live using Streamlab, choose Streamlab from your go live options on the left. You have to have your Twitch account linked to your Xbox account and your Streamlabs account linked to your Xbox account. And I think you have to have your Twitch account linked to your Streamlabs account. I can't remember. But you link all of them together. And then you fire up Streamlabs you fire up the Xbox and then you go into your streaming on your home screen and you tell it to stream through Streamlabs and it'll automatically log you in and then you stream like anybody else normally would. So I'm gonna try that. I think if I do, but I don't want a whole lot of extra stuff all around my screen anyway because especially on Call of Duty because there's just so much you have to see on the corners and in the edges and everything else because you're constantly looking for motion out of the corner of your eye. Well, you wouldn't be necessarily starting all over from scratch, Dreamer. It would be more along the lines of, at this point, Twitch, if I was to do a crafting Twitch, it would be a supplement to my YouTube. So I would still keep the YouTube channel going like normal, and then I would just add in Twitch from time to time. I wouldn't do like Miss Coffee did and take everything to Twitch. I mean, she still has her YouTube channel and still does pre-recorded videos on her YouTube, but all of her lives are done on Twitch. So, I mean, I could do that. Yeah, but does she stream from the PC, Bev, using OBS? Because I don't know how I would use OBS on the Xbox. Like, I don't know how I would link the Xbox to OBS without sending it through a capture card on my computer, and which means I have to go buy a capture card, put it in my computer, and then rewire and reroute all the cables and stuff. And I don't want to have to worry about doing all of that and having the computer all fired up. And but I can easily pay $4.99 a month and use Streamlabs, and it's like having a in the cloud version of OBS is what it is. And all I got to do is link my accounts and then just go live right from the one click in the Xbox. Because I mean, I pretty much have a built-in audience, at least for the gaming side. I have a built-in audience already with my clan. I mean, there's well over 100 members there, and a lot of them stream on Twitch because we actually have a place in our Discord where we can put up our Twitch stream ads, and so it wouldn't be hard, to get in with them because I'm already in with them, and they probably would raid me being a new streamer and stuff, which would give me almost an instant quick following. And I'm just bad enough at Call of Duty that I can be entertaining with my reactions and things like that to what happens. And yeah, I think I would do good on Twitch. Then again, I thought I would do good on YouTube as well. And at the time, I guess when I started, I was doing a lot better than I thought I would. And then it just kind of tapered off. And then, of course, taking a year off from YouTube did not help matters any. And I'm still trying to recover from that. But it was a much needed break. It wasn't, I wasn't doing it because I didn't want to continue doing YouTube. I did it because I needed to heal emotionally and everything. So but I would probably be a lot farther along if I hadn't taken that year off. And now to it's a lot harder to regain than it is to continue the upward momentum that you started with. If I'd have kept that year, I probably would be well over 2,000 subscribers by now or close to it. Because I had 1,700 when I quit, and I had, Lord knows, I was holding at like 6,000 or 7,000 watch hours consistently. So you had to keep up 4,000 per the last 365 days, and I was keeping 5,000 or 6,000 watch hours. And but at that point in time, I also had the ability to purchase a lot of things, and I always had something to unbox or something to show off or something like that. So I was able to make a lot of extra videos. And now I don't really have a lot of content to upload other than my lives on Sundays. Haven't been buying a lot of diamond painting stuff, not because I don't want to, just because I just haven't had the money to buy diamond painting stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I'd love to make more diamond painting content. Hello, Chantel. Long time no see. You were the see no evil monkey tonight. Oh no, 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 not COVID. No, 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 no. We don't want that. Tell that mean COVID to go away. Oh, wow, you can see it on camera. If you look here, you can kind of see it, and I shadow it. You see all these little cuts. One of my customers let me pick a couple of nice ripe red jalapenos off of her vine out back because it's getting close to the end of the season now, and they had a few left on there that were still good, but they were starting to go bad a little bit. So they were getting ready to go bad. So she let me pick a couple of them off and bring them home. These are all the seeds out of one of them. But I actually cut the jalapenos up right here. So all these little marks, you can't really see it, but all those little cut marks and stuff have some red staining around. How is NASCAR doing? I guess it's doing okay. I haven't really had a chance to watch too much NASCAR lately. I do know that Christopher Bell won today at Homestead. I've been kind of keeping up with it after the fact. Like I listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast and I listened to the Door Bumper Clear podcast, and they basically break down the entire race, and I've been able to keep up with it that way. And then there's at least one NASCAR YouTuber I watched, Eric Estep, called Outside the Groove, and he does like as soon as news breaks in NASCAR, he does a video. Um, he goes on and records a video, like a follow up video, as soon as the race ends, and he goes to a lot of the races, so he's able to like give you the post race rundown, like from still at the track most of the time. Hey Sherry, that's just fine if you would like to lurk. I don't mind my lurkers. But my boy didn't make it into the playoffs in NASCAR, so I haven't really been keeping up with it as much. I mean, I keep up with it, but I don't religiously try to watch it. Now, I probably will watch. Right now, they're into the final. Uh, they're into the final round of. They're in the round of 8, which gets narrowed down to the round of 4 after next week, and then they do the final race with only 4 drivers eligible for the championship. So, uh, I'll probably watch next week and the week after, because the week after is the championship race, and you know. But to be honest with you, NASCAR is not going in a direction that I like. It's not my NASCAR that I grew up with. The NASCAR I grew up with was up until, I want to say up until the early 2000s. It was still a bunch of good old Southern boys who grew up around the racetracks, grew up around the dirt tracks. They had rivalries before they came into NASCAR. They drove because they loved racing. They could have, I mean, yeah, the money was great and they liked the money too, but they were doing it because they loved racing. That racing was the thing that they just loved doing. They didn't feel at home anywhere but in a race car. Like Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr., um, all of the greats that still raced at that point. But now from the early 2000s on, the younger generation came in and NASCAR turned to more of a big business. It wasn't a bunch of independent racers that like to come in and race. It turned into a big business. And now a young driver, yes, he has driving talent, but he's not doing it for the love of racing. He's doing it strictly for the money. And in order for him to get a spot on a team and to drive a car, he has to bring sponsorship money with him before a team owner will even think about hiring him to drive the car. And it's just a completely different NASCAR. They're just a bunch of spoiled kids out there driving now that don't have that racer's ethic that the old guys used to run with, like the Mark Martins and the Darrell Waltrips and Dale Earnhardt's, all of those guys. These kids don't have the same set of ethics those other ones did. And then on top of that, NASCAR themselves, they're changing up the tracks they go to, and they're moving away from so much of the tradition that was NASCAR that has been there since 1948 when they started the sanctioning body. And they're moving away from all those traditions, and you still have a ton of us fans that are, in our 50s and 60s, that's the NASCAR we knew, and that's the NASCAR we know, and we don't want it to change and go away from traditions. I mean, why should you? But NASCAR is appealing to the more short attention span kids. They want to bring in, the young kids and have a new generation of fans. I get it. But I'm not a fan of all of the new gimmicks and fads they put in. And the only reason they need the gimmicks and fads is because otherwise the racing would be boring as shit with these stupid cars they got right now that the crew can't build the car. The crew just puts it together from a kit, basically. And NASCAR supplies the parts. They're not allowed to use any other part other than the parts that the sanctioning body supplies to them to use to build the car. They're not allowed to add anything to it. They're not allowed to take anything away from it. They're not allowed to give it a little extra shape here or there to kind of cut through the wind a little better. There's no innovation whatsoever on the side of the teams to try to do better than the next guy over. So all the cars are just carbon copy cookie cutters of each other. And they really don't put on an exciting race if you just let them race. So NASCAR has to add in all these gimmicks like stage racing and all this other stupid crap. This new point system they've had now, I guess, the last decade that nobody really likes. I just go back to the old point system. It rewarded consistency. If you finished in the top 5 all season long, chances are you were going to be the champion at the end of the season. That's it. Consistency. You ran good every race all season. No, now it's the first 36 races you have. If you win a race, you're automatically into the playoffs. And if you didn't get your way in automatically, you have to be in the top 16 in points. And 16th is the cutoff. And then they do these 3-race playoff elimination things to where they reset the points of the top 16, and the top 16 are racing to beat each other, basically. And if you win, you automatically advance to the next round. So then you do 3 races, eliminate 4. Do 3 more races, eliminate 4 more. Do 3 more races, eliminate 4 more. And then you go to 1 race where there's only 4 people eligible for the championship. You reset their points to 0. And whoever finishes ahead of the other 3 in the championship race wins the championship. But that doesn't really reward consistency throughout the season. Because now you can win Daytona, the first race of the season. Now you're locked into the playoffs. So now all you got to do all season long is just ride around out there, and you don't have to win. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to be competitive anymore until the playoffs at the end of the season, the last 10 races. And so it's just like, what's the point of having a championship if you're not rewarding consistency throughout the entire season? All you're doing is rewarding somebody who can do good in the last 10 races. And even more specifically, you're rewarding the guy that can do good in the very last race of the season. mean, it's not even like the NFL where it's set up to be the best overall record in one conference goes against the best overall record in the other conference. And that's the champion. So basically, you're rewarding the two teams that did the best all season by letting them battle it out for the championship in the end. NASCAR doesn't need playoffs. But what they were trying to do is eliminate the whole, well, remember in 1990 something or whatever, all Dale Earnhardt had to do was start the race at the third to last race of the season, and he won the championship. So then the last two races didn't mean anything. And that's what they're trying to avoid. But so what? He clinched the championship 3 races early because he was good all season. And the team worked hard and did their job and made the car good, and the driver was good, and he was consistent all season. So what if he clinches the championship 2 races early? Ryan, this is actually a picture of my cat. It's a diamond painting. Diamond painting is it's derivative off of cross stitch. It uses basically a cross stitch pattern on a sticky canvas. Use the same 477 colors that you use in cross stitch, but only we're using them as little faceted, flat bottomed beads, basically resin beads in those 477 colors. And it's kind of almost like a paint by number. You have a grid of symbols, and each one of those symbols corresponds to one of these colors. And then you just place these little 2.5 millimeter square diamonds down on the sticky canvas where they're supposed to go, and you end up with an image. This particular image, this one's been kind of had some stuff spilled on it and whatnot, but it's an image of my cat Hank. Now it won't have the green marks there and there. That's just ink that bled out when it got some spilled on it. But this turned out spectacular so far. All I have left is this little bit you see up here, and that's it. I've been working on this since 2019 when I got it. Off and on, I'll work on it a little bit. I'll put it away. I'll work on it. I'll put it away. That side I pulled it out now because I needed to change from what I was working on, which is a massive 5.5 foot by 3 foot image of the Disney castle at night. Bev, how do you think Shane will do in NASCAR? You know what? The boy came over here and he flat out drove those road courses. And NASCAR is adding more road courses to the series. I think NASCAR is trying to go more to a road course thing. I'm not happy about that. NASCAR has always been an oval series with a couple of road courses thrown in throughout the year just to mix things up a little bit. And that's the way it should have stayed. NASCAR was not meant to be an oval or meant to be a road racing thing. You could make the argument that NASCAR was started by a bunch of moonshiners who were just basically testing their cars against one another to see who had the best car that could outrun the cops, or the revenuers, I guess they called them back then. And that was what got NASCAR started. So you could make the argument that they originally were road drivers because that's what they did. They ran moonshine. But they didn't race their cars on the country roads against each other. They raced their cars on oval dirt tracks against one another until NASCAR came along and made paved dirt oval tracks and founded the NASCAR sanctioning body. And they raced almost all ovals except for maybe 1 or 2. They had Sears Point, Watkins Glen in there for years. Were the only 2 road course races. Now we've got 6 road course races this year, and I think they're talking about expanding it to 7 next year or in the very near future. And they're taking away a lot of these traditional old NASCAR ovals that they've raced on since the early days. They're either taking one of the two races a year away from it to give it to a road course somewhere. And frankly, it's boring on road courses now because these cars are just, it's just a single file run around and follow the leader all day around a bunch of curves. It's boring to watch. So will he do good? Yes. And he'll have 7 chances to do what he's best at, and that's road course racing. Now, if he wins 7 races in the season, plus they're going to have 2 road courses in the playoffs next year, all he's got to do is get himself good at the mile and a halfs, these a mile and a half ovals, and he's got a good chance of winning the playoffs, winning the championship. So I think he'll do good. I understand he can drive the wheels off pretty much anything that you put him in. And he proved that when he came over here and his very first time sitting in a NASCAR car and he won the race. That's unheard of. Nobody's ever done that. But I want to see if he wins his very first race on an oval. I doubt it. I doubt it. But I wouldn't count him out. I actually hope he does do well. I'm going to be, I'm a Chase Elliott fan first, but I really am excited to see what he does. And NASCAR needs something that's going to boost it back to the popularity it used to have. Back in the 90s, Bristol Speedway was a 3-year waiting list to buy tickets. You didn't just call, and back then you didn't have the internet. You called them and you got on the waiting list and you waited 3 years for them to send you a postcard in the mail that says, it's your turn to buy tickets. You've been waiting on your waiting list. It's your turn to buy tickets. You have until such and such date to send in this postcard with payment for the tickets that you want. And that's how popular it was. All of the tracks were adding grandstands. They were adding seating to be able to keep up with the demand that people had to go to these races. And now, Bristol, you can walk up the day of the race and buy a pretty decent ticket. Probably at a discount because they're trying to get them sold. Something's wrong there. Something is wrong there and needs to be fixed. NASCAR acts like there's nothing wrong, that everything is just perfectly great. And really, it kind of is on their end financially because they're not relying on ticket sales to make the money anymore. They're relying on the TV dollars. With these big TV contracts that the networks pay NASCAR a fee to be able to broadcast the races. And right now, NASCAR works with Fox and NBC. And usually Fox gets the first half of the season and NBC gets the second half. And then the original big TV deal, 2-network deal, was that Fox, during the 10-year contract they had, Fox would get the Daytona 500 the first 5 years of the contract, and NBC would get the Daytona 500 the second 5 years. And then that got renegotiated partway through to where Fox gets the Daytona 500 every year, and they still get the first half of the season, and NBC gets the second half. But they're paying NASCAR millions, if not billions of dollars to be able to rebroadcast or to be able to broadcast the races. And in turn, then NBC and Fox are able to sell advertising during the races. So they're making their money back off the advertising sales, and they're able to pay NASCAR the fees for broadcasting. So NASCAR then takes that TV money and does whatever it is NASCAR does with the money, which is fund the purses for the races, um, and that kind of thing. The drivers are all employees of the individual car owners. So NASCAR doesn't really give anything to the drivers. It's not like they get a paycheck from NASCAR. Um, right now, they're renegotiating that TV contract, and the owners, because NASCAR was giving the owners a little bit of that TV money, but in the owner's eyes, not nearly enough of it, because they make the case that without us owning the cars and putting them on the track every Sunday, you wouldn't have a product to sell to NBC and Fox. So we deserve a bigger chunk of that TV money. So right now they're renegotiating that contract because it's up at the end of this year, and they need to have a new one signed by next year, and there's not a new one signed yet. So we don't know what the situation there is. So see, I still keep up with NASCAR. I may not watch every race now, but I still keep up with it pretty well. I have to split my fall allegiance. I mean, luckily college football is on Saturdays, and in the fall like this, there aren't very many Saturday night races. So it's not really competing with college football as much as it's competing with the NFL. And of course, I'm a Ravens fan too. So I'm trying to keep up with both NASCAR and the Ravens and college football. Roll Tide. Yeah, it was a hell of a game yesterday. I wish I could have gone to that one. I went to Arkansas last week, and that was nuts. I can only imagine what it was like at Tennessee, which is one of our biggest rivals. It's the annual cigar game. It's the only time smoking is allowed in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Whoever wins that game, the team and the fans are allowed to light up a cigar and smoke it at the end of the game. And since it was a home game for Alabama and we won it, there was a lot of cigars. You could actually, on the TV, you could actually see all the cigar smoke in the air in the stadium. And this is an open air stadium. There was that much cigar smoke that you could actually see it on TV hovering over the stadium. And I meant to go outside and look and see if I could see it from here because I live 6 blocks down the street from the stadium. But I would have to walk out, like I have to go out the front of the apartment and then walk all the way the length of the complex to the opposite side where the street exits out onto 8th. And then I could look to the right and I can see the stadium clear as day from right there. And I meant to go out and look and see if I could see the cigar smoke actually coming up out of the stadium. I thought that would look really cool. I know I had more of these. I've seen some. I guess I will find them as I run into them later on. Watch this. I'll put it away, and then all of a sudden I'll see one and go, oh, there's one that I was just looking for. Thank you, Odd, for posting my merch shop again. We got to pick some stuff out. I never did find that packet of wipes. I don't know what happened to them. But I'm noticing there's some spots on here that aren't very sticky anymore. Maybe I ought to go find them. Wherever I put them. Oh, I didn't show y'all. Hey, I forgot. So I showed you I got some jalapeno seeds here from the jalapenos. I planted 5 of those, by the way. I just planted them yesterday or last night. But I'll bring this up here and show it to you. I have, come on, focus. There you go. I have, in all the ones here that have toothpicks, the bottom 3 rows, those are all 7-pot Primo, super hot pepper plants. And I'm already starting to get some really nice little sprouts coming up. Got one there. I had one here, but it kind of died off. There's one starting to poke through the soil there. There's one starting to poke through this soil here. I got one there, but it looks like it's dying too, because this one here, the seed came out the top part instead of like this one here has got it too. The top part is the seed. And I don't know how that happens. But that's the same thing that happened there, and the plant itself died off, I think. Maybe not. Maybe there's more of it to come back out, but the seed came out on the top of the sprout instead of the sprout coming up out of the seed. But even still, if only this one, and this one live, that's 4 pepper plants that I'm going to have to grow in my closet under a grow light. So that's going to be fun to watch. And these 5 spaces right here have 5 of these jalapeno seeds in them. That's exactly it, Dreamer. You always find what you're looking for when you don't need it anymore. It's 100% correct. It's probably in the bedroom, to be honest with you. It's probably in the bedroom. But yeah, these are super hot peppers. They're called 7-pot Primo because 1 pepper should be enough to heat up 7 large pots of chili to the point where it can almost not be eaten by most people. So they're very hot peppers. Pepper X just was announced that it is officially the world record holder of the hottest pepper in the world. It beat out the Carolina Reaper. It has 2.6 million Scoville units of heat to the Carolina Reaper's 1.5 or 1.6 million Scoville units. To give you a rough idea, a jalapeno is around 3,000 Scoville units, 3,000 to 5,000. So you can imagine what a 1.2 million or a almost 3 million Scoville unit. Now, that's jump from 1 million to 3 million is not linear. So it's not, okay, well, it's 1 to 2.6, so it's double the heat of a Carolina Reaper. No, that actually equates out to about 3 times as hot as a Carolina Reaper in Pepper X. However, 7-pot Primo has never been tested because the only one who really cares about the Guinness Book of World Records is Ed Curry, who developed Pepper X and Carolina Reaper. And he's never going to release the seeds to Pepper X. He's never going to release any pods. So only the 4 people that have eaten a Pepper X pod are going to be the only 4 people that have ever ate a Pepper X pod. He's not going to sell pods. He's not going to sell seeds for it. He's already said he's never going to release those because he doesn't want it becoming the Carolina Reaper where everybody's growing a Carolina Reaper and whatever and profiting because they crossbreed Carolina Reaper with something else and make a new plant. And now they've used his pepper to do so. He's very selfish and stingy with his stuff. So he's not going to release the Pepper X seeds at all. So the pepper community is like, screw you, Ed Curry, you're a piece of junk, and we don't like you, and we're not going to legitimize your world record claim because all you have to do is pay the Guinness Book of World Records a yearly fee so that they continue listing you. Once you become the record holder, I bet nobody knew that, you have to pay them to come out to certify the record or to certify it however they need to. But you also have to pay them a regular fee. I think it's yearly or something like that to be included in their Guinness Book of World Records to actually be able to continue being the record holder. And he's the only one who cares enough about it to actually pay them what they want every so many years. So that's why you have the Carolina Reaper for all these years has been the hottest pepper in the world, and now Pepper X is. However, the 7-pot Primo, many people that have eaten these will tell you that this is the hottest pepper they've ever eaten in their entire life. So it's never been tested, but it may actually be hotter than the Carolina Reaper and Pepper X. So I am going to try to grow some myself. Now, if you think I'm going to eat 3 or 4 bushes or even 18 bushes worth of 7-pot Primos, you got another thing coming. And I will be probably, I've been watching a couple other YouTube channels of guys that show you how to make your own hot sauce using fresh peppers. So I am going to try to raise them, pick the peppers, and ferment my own hot sauce with them. Maybe sell it like a special one-off batch, but seeing that I'm growing them indoors, I can continue the grow cycle every year with the same plants. And I won't have to worry about, having to replant every year like most people do when they grow peppers outdoors. You plant every spring, you harvest in the fall, you get maybe 2 harvests in one season, and then you're done. Now you can harden your plants off and bring them inside and keep them through the winter, but they usually don't produce because you're basically not giving them the nutrients they need to produce. You're just giving them nutrients to stay alive until you can put them back out in the summer or in the spring, and then they start making more peppers. But what I intend to do is grow them strictly indoors with a grow light, with a specific feeding regimen to where you start off feeding it after you've gotten them out of these little starter things, and you put them into a solo cup. And you grow them in a solo cup until the roots bottom out there, and then you transplant them into like a 12-inch pot. And then you can leave it in that 12-inch pot probably for an entire season before you have to move it up into like a 5-gallon bucket. At that point, it would be too big to grow in my closet anyway. So I may just keep them smaller, keep them shorter bushes or shrubs, and not have these like 7-foot tall pepper plants in my house. So that's what I think I'm going to do. But that way I can just keep harvesting them year round right there in my house. And then once you get to the point where they're as tall as you really want them to be and you're ready for them to start producing fruits, then you change up the feed that you're putting in with, like, you want so much, you want more nitrogen and less potassium and magnesium or whatever, uh, to basically tell the plant that you want it to grow. And then you switch it up and you take away the uh, the magnesium, or take away the potassium and stuff, and give it more nitrogen or whatever. I've got to watch the video again to figure out the formula to it. But you do that, and then you're telling it that you want it to grow fruit. And so you can just continue doing that over and over. Once it's grown the fruit and you've harvested all of the peppers off of it, then you start putting it back on the grow cycle. And you tell it, okay, I want you to grow some more. But while you're doing that, you're kind of pruning it to keep it a certain size. And then you switch up the food again and tell it, okay, I'm ready to harvest more peppers. And so it'll start making more peppers at that point by changing the food that you're feeding it. So I've got a little while before these get to the point where I need to start feeding them. So I don't have to worry about it yet, but I've got to research that and figure out. There's a guy that grows these 7-pot primos, and he has a surefire formula for creating awesome peppers. And he actually gives it away on his YouTube channel, and I've got the video saved in a playlist somewhere, and I've got to watch it again and find out which 2 foods I need to buy. And there's also a strict watering thing. You don't keep them in wet soil all the time. You want to water them so that the soil gets wet and brings up all the nutrients that are in the soil and the feed that's in the soil. And then what happens is you want those to soak to the bottom, because you want your pepper plant to bottom out to the bottom of the pot. And then what you want it to do is that gives it all the nutrients it needs for like a couple of weeks. And then you let the soil dry out before you water it again. So you only need to water it every couple of weeks or so to keep your pepper plant healthy the way it wants to be. You're not overwatering it. You're not underwatering it. You're giving it just enough. But at the same time, you're kind of, sort of distressing the plant enough that it goes into natural defense mode while fruiting, and it puts more capsaicin in the peppers. So that's how you guarantee you get hotter peppers, by distressing your pepper plants just a little bit, by lengthening the time in between waterings. Bet y'all didn't know that. I actually learned that part years ago, and I grew some jalapenos that were, oh my God, these things were as hot as ghost peppers. I had five jalapeno plants in my backyard up in Maryland, and we had a little flower bed in the backyard that got sun almost all day, every day. And I started them in right after the first frost. I started the seeds in the house, and then I moved them out to the outside once they got big enough. And I just grew them out in the backyard, and I only watered them maybe once every couple of weeks. I didn't feed them then because they had enough from the natural soil. And I got a huge harvest of jalapenos off of 5 plants. And I cut them all up and put them into a nacho jalapeno jar that didn't have any slices left in it, just the vinegar and stuff. And I swear those things were as hot as ghost peppers. Do I think these peppers will get that hot? Yes, they're 7-pot primo. They're going to get that hot. Now, how intense that hot is, whether it's on the low end or the high end of the scale that those peppers get to, is going to depend on my growing cycle and how I grow them and how I feed them and all that. But yeah, they'll get, I'm going to say on average, I'll probably get 2 million Scoville out of these peppers if I were to have them tested, which that's expensive and I'm not going to do that. Basically, what a Scoville unit is, and this is the easiest way to describe it. The way they test for Scoville is they take one given part of capsaicin from a pepper. Okay. So if you take all of the capsaicin out of one pepper, and then you add that same amount of water, the Scoville units are how many of that amount of water would you have to add to that one pepper's worth of capsaicin in order to dilute it enough that the capsaicin is not noticeable in the water anymore and you would not feel any heat whatsoever. And that means that basically 2 million Scoville means that you would have to have 2 million times the amount of water as there is capsaicin in that one pepper in order to dilute that amount of capsaicin down in the water to where it's not detectable anymore. Now, there's not a ton of capsaicin in the small pepper because a 7-pot primo is only probably about as big, if anybody vapes or knows of it, 7-pot primo is only probably about as big as this vape lid. So there's not a ton of capsaicin. It's not like that when you slice it open, stuff comes running out. There are little puddles of capsaicin oil inside the pepper, and usually the bumpier that pepper is, the more capsaicin is in it. So when you cut it open and you see all those little puddles of capsaicin in there, it's capsaicin oil. But there's even more of it inside the placenta that's in the pepper, which is that white center part that the seeds are attached to. That placenta is what holds most of the capsaicin. All of that white membrane inside of a pepper is where the capsaicin is done. So if you want to make a jalapeno not hot anymore, you slice it open down the middle, cut it down the middle long ways, and then basically scoop out all of that lighter colored or white colored membrane that's in there. The seeds have no heat. It's only the actual pulpy membrane stuff that's in there. So if you can get all of that pulpy membrane stuff out, a jalapeno really will not be that hot. It would be as hot as bell pepper, which is not hot at all. But that little tiny bit of capsaicin that's in there, that pepper, once you get it all extracted out, that pepper has, I don't know, a half a teaspoon, measuring teaspoon of capsaicin. Well, that would mean that you would need 2 million half a teaspoons of water in order to dilute that capsaicin from that pepper to where it's not detectable anymore. Where with a jalapeno, you'd only need 3,000 half teaspoons of water to dilute. And that's what Scoville rating is. Yeah, I hope these peppers get that hot. I really do. I mean, I know they'll be super hot. So they will be in that range of Carolina Reaper hot. Just how hot is going to depend on my growing ability. And I've always been good with plants. I've always been good with them. I've got my Christmas cactus. I bought it in 2020, right after I moved here. And it was just in a little planter about this big around. I bought it at Christmas time from the grocery store. I can't remember where, but they were selling them for like $3. So I picked one up because my mom always had Christmas cactuses. In fact, her Christmas cactus, which I wish I'd have gotten a cutting of when my mom passed away and I went to Maryland and I didn't even think of it. I wish I could have gotten a cutting from it and brought it home and planted it, because her plant was a cutting of her mom's plant. And this is my grandmother, actually. My grandmother was my mom. So my grandmother's plant was a cutting from my great grandmother's plant, which was a cutting from my great great grandmother's plant. And each one, my mom and her sister and her niece, all had cuttings of my great grandmother's plant, which eventually came back to my great great grandmother. And my cousin has one that sits, she lives in a house. It's kind of like Gone with the Wind house. It's got the big stairway that go like up into a balcony in the middle in the main entrance foyer. And she's got a rounded balcony up there on the very top in the middle. And right in the middle of that rounded boundary is a little pedestal with a planter on it and this giant Christmas cactus that has to be probably about 5 feet in diameter. And it just hangs down off the side of the planter all the way almost to the floor. It seems huge. And but I wish I'd have gotten a cutting off of my mom's plant before I left, but I didn't, so I ended up starting a new one. My kids will each get a cutting of it one day when I'm gone. I hope, and I hope they'll keep it alive. But my Christmas cactus is now, in fact, you know what? I'm going to pull the camera up so y'all can see. Excuse my garbage bag back here and a hank laying in the floor. It started out as a little tiny plant, and now it is that big. And this whole thing will bloom into the most spectacular, almost neon pink magenta blooms at Christmas time and in July. So I'm keeping this one alive and growing it pretty big now. And it's big. And then back in March, one of my customers gave me one of these. It's a succulent. Oops. It's a succulent. I think it's called a star plant. And you can see why. The leaves, they're kind of got a little purple hue to them now. They're not actually leaves, they're succulent. But they're kind of a ghost gray. No, it's called a ghost plant. That's what it is. It's a ghost plant. And it's a nice little succulent. But she gave me a piece about this big to bring home with me because she had them growing all in her flower bed. And she goes, these things are almost like weeds. They just take over a flower bed. So she gave me a little piece about this big, and I planted it. This here, the cats broke it off after I brought it in. It's been sitting out on the front porch. If you grow it outside in sunlight, these leaves will turn purple. And you can't see it on camera. They've got a slight purple hint to them because they've been outside all summer. I just brought them in when it's starting to get cooler now in the evening, so I brought them in to stay inside. But if they're grown indoors and not in direct sunlight, they're like this beautiful hazy gray color, like a pale gray, almost like what you would picture a ghost. And so the cats broke this off yesterday. I found it laying on the floor beside the pot. However, from that one little piece that she gave me back in March, I now have a whole pot of them. They grow like vines almost. If you look in there, you can see them. They're like, and these will eventually grow over the side and then hang down the side of the planter. So I'm going to have to end up getting this planter up off the ground on a stand like I have the other one. So I do have a knack for growing things. However weird that is for me, I've always had a knack for growing things. I used to do a lot of tomato plants. When I lived in Maryland, where my pepper plants were, I also had tomatoes. Yeah, Hank's loafing. Yeah, he's looking at me now. He's like, what do you want, buddy? What are you doing? Yeah. Spoiled little butt. Aria, don't you tell me no. I can call Aria if I want to. Yes, I can. He's sassy too, I'm telling you. Aria, where are you? She's in the bedroom. She won't come out. Hank's just checking everything out over here. It's not like he hasn't sniffed everything in this house 100 times, but and he is so weird. He will go over to the door, okay, and he will sit at the door with his nose plastered into the doorknob side of the door, right where the crack is, and he will sit there with his nose plastered there and just sit there like that. And it's like I have to tell him to stop being weird. He thinks he wants to be an outside cat, but I know he won't make it. He'll end up coming back home again because he always does. He thinks he wants to be out there until he gets out there, and then he don't want to be out there no more. Ain't that right? Here. Come here. Oh, come here, weirdo. Oh. I know. Here, let me get up there. Yeah, put the tail down. Nobody wants to see that. Where's your sister at? Let's go find your sister. Come on. Go find her. Go find Aria. Like, nope. He will sit here just like this. So I give him attention. Yes, I know. You're attention starved. You never get enough. There's never enough attention for Hank. Nope. He tries odd. He tries to be. He's up under my desk now. Oh. Yeah, I had the apartment nice and clean like 3 weeks ago, and just been working so much. I come home and then I end up with my stuff scattered everywhere because I got nowhere else to put it. It's a different view. You can see my cup now. You can see my vape, my seeds, my phone. Oh, my knife. You can still see some of the capsaicin oil from that jalapeno I sliced up with it last night. Oh, Hank. He's got one fang that sticks out on the over top of his bottom lip on one side, but not the other side. But he has both. He has both fangs. What are you doing? Really? Okay. You're just gonna stand here in the way, are you? Don't sit on my pepper seeds. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I know. There is no escaping Hank this evening. When I'm playing Xbox, he will sit right here where he is right now and sit here and just look at me while I'm playing Xbox the whole time. And then when he gets tired of sitting and look at me, he'll just lay down right here on the desk and take a nap. Boop, 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 boop. And he's just gonna sit here and get stretches. He's laying his head in my hand while I'm scratching his neck. He's leaning on my hand. Okay. Oh wow. The Christmas Day premiere group chat is picking back up. Oh wow. They're getting ready to plan. So y'all, we're gonna have Christmas premieres again this year. Get ready for that. Of course, I'm going to take part in it. I haven't missed a year of it yet. Every year they've done it. Last year, the Christmas premiere was my official return to YouTube after my year-long break, or nearly year-long break. Hello, Dawn Marie. I see you. Did y'all have fun at the casino in Philadelphia? I saw your Facebook post. Did you win lots of money? Did you win enough that like you could help me retire early? I take that as a no. Oh, there we go. You might want to watch cleaning your little paws there after stepping in that spot because, hey, because that's where I cut my hot pepper up last night. Yep. Ooh, I better answer that. Everybody's saying they're in. So y'all, I will be in on the Christmas premieres this year. All right. Yeah, Hank was just I just picked up the you missed my plant show off. I was showing off all my plants that I'm keeping alive. So I know I can keep plants and cats alive, and obviously myself. So I must be doing something right. But yeah, I was showing off all the plants that I'm keeping alive and that I'm birthing at the moment. And Hank was kind of loafing back here on the floor, and I had to turn the camera up, and everybody got to see Hank loafing on the floor. So we just did a little attention time with Hank, and now he's not ready to stop getting attention. So he's just going to sit here in the way. You missed my super hot pepper seeds are sprouting, Don Marie. I've got 4 or 5 nice sprouts from my 7-pot primo plants seeds that I planted the other like last weekend. So, and I've got a pile of jalapeno seeds here from a jalapeno that I cut up last night and ate, and I saved all the seeds out of it, and I planted 5 of those as well. So I'm going to have some jalapeno plants, and I'm going to grow them all in my spare closet, what used to be Pam's room back there, and I've got a grow light and everything in there. So I'm gonna grow some ultra hot peppers. The 7-pot primo is actually in contention with Pepper X and Carolina Reaper to be the hottest in the world, but nobody just wants to pay to get it tested, so it's speculation right now. Oh yeah, I got this seed starter thing that's like it's like foolproof. It's just like a little pan on the bottom, and there's like this like paper felt type sheet that lays over the top of that pan. There's like it's raised in the center, and that little sheet lays over the top, and the sides of the 2 ends of the sheet lay down into like the little reservoir around the side of the pedestal that it's sitting on. And then the top part is all the little uh, seedling trays, and each one of those came with a little pellet of peat, and you had to put water in it and it grows and whatever. And then you just kind of break it up and make it fit the little seed pots. And then that tray just sits on top of that felt pad, and that felt pad soaks the water up and keeps it wet, and it keeps the seed trays moist all the time. So you don't have to continue watering it, and your seeds sprout pretty quick. Once they get to a certain size and those roots start bottoming out into small seed trays, then I've got to transplant them all over to solo cups, and then let them grow in solo cups until basically the entire thing is one big mass of roots with some soil there. And then I transplant that over into like a 12-inch pot, and that should be good for the entire season. And then after the first season, after I harvest them for the last time on the first season, then I can move them over into a 5-gallon bucket. But that's still quite a ways down the road. That's like this time next year is when I move them over into a 5-gallon bucket. So, and then it's going to be a job of feeding them the right mixture of nitrogen and other minerals to tell them to grow versus fruit, and then switching up the chemicals or the feed that I put in it to tell them to fruit. Which that's done throughout the whole grow season at certain intervals. And then I can make some hot sauce. I can ferment, I can put the peppers in the blender and blend them up into a puree and then ferment that for a while. And then add a little bit of vinegar and maybe some other seasonings like cumin and something else that will just give it a little accent to the main flavor of the pepper. And then I have my own supply of super hot sauce. Maybe even sell some if I have too much, because I know more than one bottle is too much for me for a year. So something that hot, you're not going to put on everything. I've got a bottle out in the kitchen that I've had for a year and a half now that is from Pepper X. It's actually made with just pureed up Pepper X with a little bit of cumin in it and I think a little bit of garlic powder. And now that Pepper X is officially the hottest pepper in the world, it has just overtaken the Carolina Reaper. I now have a bottle of the hottest hot sauce in the world. There it is. This is the XXX version of the Last Dab from the Hot Ones YouTube channel. This stuff is the hottest sauce on Hot Ones, cranks the spice levels even higher with this special XXX rated version of the Last Dab. 3 distinct strains of Smokin' Ed Curry's most infamous chili, Pepper X, Chocolate Pepper X, and Peach Pepper X, combined to smoke out celebrity guests and fans alike. Add a dab to your favorite foods and live the Hot Ones tradition. Now, this stuff is not a pourable sauce. It is thick. Let me get one of my little stir sticks here. I mean, it's kind of pourable when you get down into the stuff it's got to be mixed up a little bit better again and shook up. But you can see it's kind of a liquidy sauce. But this stuff, when you open the jar, it just smells hot. And it don't take much. That right there is enough to set you on fire for the next half hour. You know what? You actually develop a tolerance to that, Dawn Marie. The rear part takes a little longer to develop the tolerance to than the mouth, but you do develop a tolerance to where here lately I have been practicing because I do have this year's version of the One Chip Challenge that I still need to do, but I have been getting myself ready by eating these every day. So I've been munching on these every single day. I buy a bag every day, like one of the small bags, and then I got this big bag for here at home when I'm sitting here playing Call of Duty. I'm just sitting here like lighting myself up with. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna try this little bit that's on the stick. Whew. There we go. Whew. Gives you hiccups. Hi, Michelle. Oh, yeah, that's some hot sauce. Oh, let me grab this. Oh, because the cat's knocked it on the floor. There it is. There's this year's. This year's is made with Carolina Reaper and Naga Viper pepper. The Naga Viper pepper is now the 5th hottest pepper in the world. But at the time that it was released to the public, it was the hottest pepper on the planet before the Carolina Reaper came along. And now the Naga Viper is only the 5th hottest pepper in the planet. But these chips are made, they're not like a corn chip. Like these are like a Dorito chip with ghost pepper powder on them. This chip is dried Carolina Reapers and dried Naga Viper peppers squished together into the shape of a chip that's probably about this big and then goes down to about here. So it's a little bit bigger than a regular Dorito. It's really big. But it's just pressed dried peppers is all it is, into the shape of a chip. And it's held together with something. I don't know what they use to bind them together, but it's some kind of probably like a food safe glue. And that's what this chip is. It's actually the dried peppers. That's what makes this so hot. See, all I need to do is a little bit of this every day to get my tolerance level up to where I can just eat that chip without a problem. Because this is basically a pureed version. You can see how thick it is. It doesn't run in the jar. But that's all this is pureed pepper X, which is now officially the hottest pepper in the world. So I just need a little dab of that every day. Just burn myself a little bit every day to where it doesn't bother me anymore. And then I can eat this and it wouldn't bother me anymore because this is bound to be less hot than this is. And if that doesn't work, Okay. So if that doesn't work, I have the peppers I'm trying to grow, 7-pot primo. I have some 7-pot primo sauce. I've got some Carolina Reaper salsa. And my son's friend, hunting buddy, grew some ghost peppers a couple years ago. And he gave me 4 or 5 of them. And I sliced them up and put them in this jar. So that jar is sliced ghost peppers. And I can just start eating those. So I'm ready for anything that they can throw at me for hot stuff. And then I'll just add those in with it. And that's what I do for fun. You sure you don't want to come and sample it with me, Dawn Marie? You can come over and eat some ghost pepper and some hot sauce. You know you like it. It's still good. Pepper X has an amazing taste. It has a great flavor. It's kind of a I don't know how to describe it. It's very smoky. It's got like a smoky flavor to it. It's citrusy. Here's Aria. Hey, Aria. It's kind of citrusy with a hint of maybe a little bit of bitterness. It's not bad. It's a very flavorful pepper for as hot as it is. And this Carolina Reaper salsa is some good stuff. I just sit here and just dip my chips in it and eat it. I can't get the lid off of it now. There's some ghost peppers for you. I diced them up and put them in there. Well, there's some slices and some dices. Ooh, this smells hot. Now, the 7-pot Primo sauce is not that hot. For whatever reason, it's supposed to be made with this pepper that's like as hot as a Carolina Reaper. But to be honest with you, it just isn't. So I just put a little dab in there. They've diluted it down so much with like vinegar and it says on the thing, ingredients: tomatillos, apple juice from concentrate, ascorbic acid, 7-pot Primo peppers, onions, jalapeno peppers, fresh garlic, water, black vinegar, kosher salt, garlic powder, habanero peppers, and yuzu vinegar. So this is mostly tomatoes, green tomatoes, with maybe a little bit of 7-pot Primo in it, and a little bit of jalapeno and a little bit of habanero. And it's not really hot at all. It's a great tasting hot sauce, though. It goes really, really good on grilled chicken. In fact, I took 2 frozen chicken breasts and I put them in the air fryer and I coated the tops with the 7-pot Primo hot sauce and I cooked them in the air fryer and they turned out absolutely amazing. And I picked this up at Buc-ee's. You see the little Buc-ee's logo on there. And that one came from Buc-ee's too. This stuff here was like $25 for this little bottle of it. Some expensive hot sauce. And I've also still got, I can't remember if y'all got it for me. Somebody got it for me. But it was a 4 set of hot sauces. It had chipotle, habanero, jalapeno, and cayenne hot sauces. And I've got those. In fact, the habanero is almost gone now. I was sitting here when I had, I can't remember, I had something that was hurting. And I was drinking habanero hot sauce to overcome whatever other pain I was having. So it's almost empty now, the habanero part is. But I also have here it is. I also have this set, the ass-kicking hot sauce, the Cajun, wasabi, roasted garlic, and original. The only one I've opened is the roasted garlic one. And then I've got these set here. Like I said, the habanero one, it goes in this one. It's got jalapeno, chipotle, cayenne, and habanero. I've drank most of the habanero already. Let's see, that's almost gone. I used to sit here and drink this stuff. It's so good. So yeah, I've got quite the heat you up collection. And wait in one more second. Everybody's favorite sriracha and the red Tabasco and the green Tabasco and this stuff here. This stuff here, 2 drops in a giant pot of chili almost makes it inedible even for somebody who likes heat. I do from time to time. Odd. I haven't been a big TikTok watcher. When I do, it's just basically scrolling through whatever comes up on my For You page. Which, to be honest, my For You page is mostly like girls dancing and doing stupid things in front of a camera. For whatever reason, I guess it's because it's based on the things that I liked. I don't know. But there's also some other funny stuff I like the one woman that's always talking about Gen X, and she's like in her house in her sweats, and she's like, "You kids are not doing the Vanilla Ice dance right. This is how you do it. Let me show you." And she's kind of funny. Like stuff like that comes up on my For You page. Oh, really? I have to check that out. But yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of a hot sauce aficionado. Anybody ever wants to know what to get me for Christmas? Um, hot sauces. Can never go wrong with hot sauce for Dave. And hot sauce, if made correctly, like this, or like this, really never need to be refrigerated because they are already pasteurized and pickled, so they're preserved for practically forever. They won't go bad even sitting out on the shelf. Even though it says on the thing refrigerate after opening, it doesn't need to be if it's made properly, because it will never spoil. Off here, brothers, hubby. Okay, hubby's home. All right. Tell him I said hi. And to be honest with you, I've got to get off here anyway. I was only supposed to do 2 hours. I went a little over because I was busy showing off my hot sauce collection. So I will hop off of here. I will see you all next weekend, Sunday. I was going to be out of town next weekend, but I had to cancel those plans. Financially, I just can't afford the gas to drive to Birmingham and meet my hiking partner. But we were going to go on a autumn colors hike in the Smokies this weekend, but I had to back out. So I will be home next weekend, so I will be on here. I will see you all then. Until then, rock on, y'all. Roll Tide.